Ujai, and welcome. This is another episode of the Gate of Gates podcast. We're happy to be here with you guys for one more episode. And my name is Kagzrimen and I'm your host. And I'm joined here with
Merikara Psychopter.
Kenibashu Psychopter.
Hauti Psychopter.
Yes, Hauti, you are here. Great to have you. So, before we get started, we'd like to honor and acknowledge the non-material and all the forces in the non-material, particularly Master Naba, or Neb Naba Lumusomor Denebig, who is the founder of the Earth Center and the one who brought this great work and the one who, we are all initiates of the temples in which he brought here to the West. So, one more thing, we'd also like to acknowledge our sponsor, Sauce Hot Sauce. So, Sauce Hot Sauce, yes. Say it.
Sauce Hot Sauce.
Sauce Hot Sauce. He says it better than me. So, Sauce Hot Sauce started in 2007 when a group of traveling students were in West Africa and they were thinking of ways to help charitable causes. So, one of the students happened to be an artisanal hot sauce chef. And right then and there, Sauce Hot Sauce was born. Now, Sauce Hot Sauce, they help charitable causes by giving a portion of their sales to help, support those charitable causes, particularly in the region of Burkina Faso, in which they help, displaced families. So shout out to Sauce Hot Sauce. It's good hot sauce, and it's for a good cause. So please support and buy some sauce. Now, last week we were talking a lot about legacy, right? We were having a huge discussion. There was some talk about a lady who didn't want kids, or she thought that she shouldn't have kids, maybe because she thought the men in today's world doesn't know anything about legacy. And it really sparked a pretty interesting conversation. And in that conversation, Hauti, can you not do that? Thank you. It sparked a pretty interesting conversation, and I was really thinking about it, and the legacy really goes deep because there's so many different, aspects to it. There's so many different ways we can talk about it or get into it. Mm-hmm. And, it's pretty big. It's pretty big. So I just want to know any thoughts, you guys had or takeaways or meditations from the topic from last time.
It's on you, buddy.
It's on me. Yeah.
Well, you're the new person, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I didn't see the last episode.
You talking to the mic?
I didn't see the last episode, so I can't really speak on what you guys
Well, what do you think
on.
legacy is?
Family. It's definitely family. I mean, you can't have a legacy without family. You can't have a legacy without a continuance of whatever it is you did in your life. It doesn't matter unless you have someone that can continue it. Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about legacy, you're really talking about family, but not only family and just people that you're related to, but also you hear the legacy screaming.
There it is.
But also it's about what those family members and those people do. So, yeah, that's what I think about legacy.
Yeah,
in short.
Because this the Earth Center, and as you know, we're all initiates here. We're all Dogon initiates, and legacy is something that's very important because this is like a temple, and it's a spiritual institution as well. And what is she?
Merikara, just go handle what you need to.
So, you gotta laugh at this because it's
the
good.
reality of it, though.
Right.
It's the reality of.
That's how it's very authentic and very organic. Mm-hmm. Nothing is planned. Things just happen. But legacy is important because spirituality is really about family. The foundation of spirituality is family. You can't say you're a spiritual person or you're a person who's trying to evolve without the concept of family. Mm-hmm. Because even a civilization, its foundation is family. You can't have a nation without having a city. You can't have a city without a village. You can't have a village without a family. And you can't have a family without, two people coming together. But that in itself is about the legacy. What, as Merikara was saying, what are you passing down? what kind of, values do you have? Like, what kind of principles do you hold? Like, what's the culture in which you carry? Like, how is these things passing down? Because essentially, if we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about spirits, like the non-material aspect of the human being. And the only way a spirit can come into existence is through people, through family. So the evolution of a person, the evolution of a spirit has to happen through family. It has to happen through generations and generations of trying to build on top of whatever your father had already set in place before you. So it's a very big topic.
Yeah, I mean, after having the conversation last week, was still thinking about it. And I think the most important part is that, today there's just so much distraction. There's so many distractions from like actually building something that is non-material, like a literal focus on something that's not material. It just doesn't exist in like the modern zeitgeist. There's no place for it. Like when you look at religion, it's like God is just a figure in the air, somewhere in the sky. And it's like if you go to church and you pray hard enough and you believe, and they got the new missionaries now, they go to concerts, they go to Christian concerts, and they kind of just have like rock star church life. And it's like, that's it as far as like the non-material aspect. But when it comes to ancestors or genies, entities, deities, all that kind of stuff, there's no sense of what my father did, what my father's father's father did, what my mother's mother's mothers did, what my uncles did, what my aunties did. None of that matters in a non-material sense. So I think that's the largest part that's really missing from legacy on a whole. And it transcends into the physical aspect of it as well, and what they're doing, like with their actual lives. But,
Yeah, I mean, I think for most people, they might not necessarily even understand a lot of the things you're talking about, right?
Right.
That whole idea of like, because when you're talking about deities, genies, and all this stuff, like people are probably thinking you're talking about like some kind of fantasy TV show, right? Like the concept of those things is not in the modern mentality, because the modern system of the modern world is a world based off of material. Everything is about materialism. Everything is about the material aspect of life. Like it's about the body, it's about the aesthetics of things, it's about the pleasure, it's about the wants more so than the needs. And I think to even like tackle this kind of conversation with legacy, to make it even relatable for most people, we have to tackle it from like that same kind of concept, like it being like material. And personally, when I think of legacy, even before coming to the Earth Center, like it was always, okay, what can I pass down, or what can be passed down like practically and tangibly. Now, the tangible things normally nowadays is like a business, as we were talking about last week, or like money or things like that. But are those the things that really feed us though? Like really, like are those the things that really like get people to like be people? Like family is like the foundation of our spiritual sense, right? But then what's the foundation of like our physical sense? Like what is that?
Can you unmute my mic? No,
all you did was
Oh, my mic. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in some ways, yeah, it can feed you on a physical level. You'll be able to eat food, right? You'll be able to do things, maybe travel, maybe go get so-called higher education and things of that, nature. But there's other aspects of you that are even more important, that even dictate how your life even goes, that need that attention as well. So if you're not putting any attention on those things, who's to say that your life, and you think you're successful and you think you're passing something down, like who's to say that that's really what's feeding you and your spirit and your family and like the blood that's flowing through your veins? Who's to say that even what you're doing is even rooted in what you and your family are supposed to be doing and what you are really meant to be doing in this life? or just as a family, like what it is that you guys specialize in or bring to this world. So it's like, I think it really all ties into like the individualism and like just the way that people look at themselves as like just me, you know, it's like, it's just me. Because even like one person or one human being is made up of so many different people, so many different spirits, like coming together and saying like, we are going to stand behind this person and make sure that they come into this world and like, let's see what they do.
That's
you know,
crazy
and
when
they're
you think about it
depending
like
on
that.
you.
That's wild.
Right. So it's like even you, one person, it had to take hundreds of thousands of people to literally come and live this life for you to even exist.
Word.
So it's like, what is individualism really? Because even if you don't believe in spiritual things or the unseen or whatever, there's some things that you just can't deny.
That's a fact.
And it's that you came from someone who came from someone who came from someone who came from someone. So how can you really say, like, it's just me and I'm an individual?
Well, you know, that's the thing. The system wants people to be individuals, because if you become an individual, then you're easier to control. Because somebody who's not an individual, somebody who has the kind of community mindset, you're coming with like an army, like a force. It's like even what you're talking about, if you walk through the world with that mindset, like, okay, I have a million ancestors behind me. I have a million invisible things behind me. You're going to walk different. You're going to talk different. You're going to act different. It's like that whole weight of all of those things behind you spiritually is going to like make you like, you know, sturdy. It's going to make you strong. So somebody like that is harder to control, because somebody like that is even more what I would say is like stable or sustainable or self-sustainable. And it's interesting because when we think about the modern society, the modern system, it being like about materialism and everything about materialisticness and individualism. It's like, I find it funny that in like, what was it, 1950s, there was actually, after the First World War, right, the veterans, they
I think she agrees.
yeah, it seems
She was
like
like, I was there.
I'm sure you were. So the veterans after the war, they were given like these bank loans. So these loans were given to people with the hopes for them to use it to now buy plots of like land, but not to really like build a legacy on it per se, or builds like a family housing per se, but more so to build like individual houses. So that's where you get like this development of like these apartment complexes, and then these suburban kind of households where it's like all these individual houses where you don't really talk to your neighbor, you don't really talk to anybody else. It's like, it's all about how green your grass is. It's all about keeping up with the Joneses. It's like, okay, if Jones has like has a yacht, then I have to have a bigger yacht. If he has a Cadillac, I have to have a Mercedes.
Which is crazy, because it went from like you and your family doing what you and your family are doing to the Joneses. Like someone else's family becomes the standard for what you should be doing because of what they have.
Yeah, no, it's true. And like, I was talking to my grandma one day, and she, I guess, grew up. Yeah, she was.
She wants to wear the headphones, Merikara. Just put them on her head.
So she was growing up like around that time, and she was telling me like how her life.
She won't settle for anything less than the
I'll be
headphones.
right back.
Well, I think I can understand what Merikara was about to get into, you know, because one time I asked, it was so funny, because one time I went to my grandma. I used to always go to my grandma and ask for $5, right? Right, because I want to go to the store. You know, I want to, get like candy. I want to go to the store, get a CNC soda. So I would always go to my grandma and be like, can I have $5? So normally she would give me the $5, but I was like abusing it at one point.